Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Abby Van Meter with the Nelson County Extension Office, the nutrition assistant at the Nelson County Extension Office, for our healthy eating segment here on Central Kentucky Television. And today we're getting a recipe out of the 2016 Food and Nutrition Calendar. And it's the December recipe. We're going to let you know before we're done too how you can get the 2017 calendars shortly, right? From the extension offices.
So we've done a few recipes from the calendar this year, and they're all really good recipes. And you know, just because 2016 is winding down, it's kind of hard to believe, but these recipes are still good. So you know, any recipes that we've done in the past from the calendar, if you haven't gotten a calendar, we do have a few left, and then we can find recipes from previous years online. So just let us know. And the new calendar should be coming out, I would say beginning of December we should be getting them. So we'll have 12 new recipes for you to try. And
for the new year.
Yeah, for the new year. We'll hopefully demonstrate some on next year's show, but you can get a head start and let us know what you like. So.
Absolutely. But today we're going to do the December recipe for the 2016, and it's hearty lentil and sausage soup. And one day, I think it will be cool enough to enjoy soup,
As we're recording this, it's 85 degrees is the high today, so not soup weather just yet, but I have my fingers crossed that eventually it's coming. So it will be soup season before long.
Exactly.
So this is something good whenever it does finally cool down. You know, you can we're going to make it on the stove today, but you can make it in the crock pot, any kind of slow cooker, and you know, it's kind of a thicker, heartier soup, as the name calls it. So good for cold weather.
And sometimes at Christmas, I know you do those like bottle soups. I guess this one wouldn't work out as well.
This
since
wouldn't work out.
But there's lentils in some of them, I know.
Lentil. Yeah, we did one with lentils last year. And what you could do is you could do all the dry ingredients, so all the spices and things, and then just add your, in this case, sausage later. Kind of like you add the chicken later in the jar soups. So just kind of adding the meat and the wet ingredients at the end. So you could definitely,
recipe for the holidays as well.
Yes, we'll probably do one of those next month. Those are always fun.
Yes. Okay.
So we're going to start with, I've already cooked the sausage. So this uses 1/3 of a pound of Italian sausage. Italian sausage has the fennel in it. Some people are a little weird about the fennel, but
I like it.
Yeah, I do too. So that's what this recipe calls for. So I've already cooked that, drained off the excess fat. Now we're going to chop up some onions and carrots. So you need 1 small onion diced. So we're going to do that now.
Okay. Now, when we talk about onion, this is a white onion?
It's a yellow onion.
Yellow onion.
Yellow onion.
But there are like white onion, right?
Yes, there are white onion. Yes.
Red, whatever.
Red,
so
yes.
Just use whatever you want, or just?
I would do white or yellow for this one. The red, you know, has a little different taste, so it's going to be a little, you know, give you a little different flavor. But really, whatever you have or whatever you prefer. Yes, definitely good in salads. I like them in guacamole. That's usually my guac choice. And we're going to put the onion right in there with the cooked sausage. So we're going to.
Now, also, I know people always say that onions are hard to cut because they make you cry.
They do. It kind of depends on the onion. Some onions, I just, you know, my eyes start watering and everything, but most of the time I can hold it together. There's lots of different tricks and things that people talk about.
What is that in there? Do you know that makes that happen?
It's some kind of chemical reaction between the knife and the onion. I don't know, you know,
really?
why. Yeah, but I don't know what, you know, the trick is, but I haven't learned it yet. And then we're going to slice 2 carrots. And I did peel these before, so. And we're going to saute these with the sausage in the pan. So if you do it in a slow cooker, in the calendar it talks about that, but you don't saute the vegetables. So I kind of decided to do it on the stove because I think that might give it a little better flavor with all those vegetables mixed in.
I also noticed that you're cutting with your fingers. That is
so
the
that's
right way,
called the bear claw. So that is supposed to prevent any finger cuts.
Losing a finger.
So kind of keeping your finger cupped and your fingers kind of like this is kind of the trick.
Because then we'll ride across the
yes.
edge. Okay.
So we're going to saute this up. Also a stalk of celery that I already cut up. And then about a teaspoon of minced garlic. So I cheated today and used the jar of minced garlic, but it is a lot easier and it gets some of that juice in there. So we're going to put some of that in there too. I do too. So we're just going to saute this up a little bit.
It all sounds good.
Yeah.
We were saying that it's not often that you see sausage in your recipes in this calendar because they are
sausage does have a lot of, the saturated fats that we try to generally stay away from. But this does only use about 1/3 of a pound, so it's kind of more of just the flavor. And we did drain off the grease, so that kind of, and it does have a really good flavor, especially for soups. So, so we're just going to kind of let that cook a little bit. While that's cooking, we're going to add in the rest of our ingredients to our pot. So we're going to do 4 cups of water. It's a big measuring cup, isn't it? Yeah. It's perfect for things like this. Yeah. So we have our water. We have
never seen one that big.
Yeah, 8 ounces of lentils. As you were saying before, we used lentils before. So a lentil is sort of like a bean, but they cook faster. So this recipe called for 8 ounces of lentils sorted and rinsed. So if you get a bag of lentils, it's a good idea to kind of sort through there, make sure there's no odd particles, and then just rinse them off a little bit. I used red and just the plain brown lentils just to kind of give it a little color.
Okay, I was going to say, they're not always that color.
Yeah. So the red lentils kind of just give it a festive color.
Does the flavor change?
It's not that much of a change, no.
Yeah.
It's kind of, just a little bit of color. And then we're going to do a can of chicken broth. And the recipe actually called for the less sodium. Chicken broth is one of those things that typically has a lot of salt in it. So if you can find the, reduced sodium, that's always the best. And then a can of diced tomatoes. Again, no salt added. So this only has 20 milligrams of sodium. So
good.
Staying heart healthy here. I'm going to give this a little stir. And if you, as always, our recipes on here are, you can do your own thing with them. So if you don't like carrots, you could omit those or put in some different vegetables. I think some peppers would be good in here. The recipe didn't call for that, but I think that would be a nice addition.
It's good to customize
sometimes.
Yeah.
If you have picky family members, you could cut up the carrots very small, so maybe you could hide them in there and they wouldn't notice. But yeah, a lot of times in soups, the vegetables kind of mix in and they get different flavors, so you don't just taste the carrots or the celery.
Right.
All right, so next we're going to put in 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So not much salt, really. 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. So this is just kind of a mix of like oregano, thyme, that kind of thing.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and then last we're going to put in 1 bay leaf. So bay leaves add a lot of flavor, and then just before serving, just remove it out so you don't get a bowl of
big bowl bay leaf.
With the bay leaf.
Because if you do leave that in there, don't let the person eat it, because that's not really good to eat.
Yes. So just kind of spoon it out if you can.
I've had that before where it's like, oh, this is not supposed to be here, but
So
don't eat it.
Yeah, don't eat it. Remove it.
But it is a nice flavor.
Yes. It can be kind of a hunt. Whoever gets the bay leaf might, kind of like at Thanksgiving, the drumstick or the wishbone.
Yes.
Make it into a game.
So how many people are we preparing this meal?
So this, I thought this was kind of interesting. It says it only makes 4 servings, but each serving is 2.5 cups. So that seems like quite a bit of soup, especially with all the flavors.
And it's a hearty soup.
It's a hearty soup, so it's kind of a, it's going to fill you up. But, so you could always, add a little more water in the chicken broth and just kind of see how it goes in your family. It does have 350 calories, and that is per 2.5 cups. So, relatively speaking, that's not a lot for a meal, especially, a dinner meal.
That's why in the picture they have some nice bread there.
Yeah, they have some whole grain bread,
That looks good too.
Yeah.
And the cost, it will vary obviously depending on where you are and where you're shopping. But their cost breakdown is only $1.20 per serving, which is really inexpensive.
That is very inexpensive. You have the sausage, but it's only 1/3 of a pound. So if you did it true to the recipe, you could have a lot of sausage left over from the pound. And then the spices and things are typically things that you have around. You might not have the Italian seasoning, but other than that, it's pretty standard thing. So it is definitely a low cost recipe.
Yes.
So this is kind of sautéing up We're going to let it cook just a little bit longer.
Okay.
And so once we put that into the large pot, we're going to, we're going to bring it to a boil. We're going to reduce the heat, cover, so put a lid on it and let it simmer for about 45 minutes until the lentils are tender. So you're just waiting for those to get softer. And like I said, you can cook it in a crock pot on low for 8 hours. So if you want to put it in there in the morning, it'll be ready by the time you get home at night. So that's always a good option too.
Very good.
Yeah.
So we'll just we're going to combine these, let them cook for 45 minutes, and then you have your meal. As soon as the weather changes.
Yeah, as soon as it gets cold, and I'm sure we'll have a big snow this winter, and we'll be wishing we had these 85-degree temperatures.
Exactly.
But it all works out.
And if you need a copy of the recipe, you can contact the Extension office here with Abby, or look into your calendar for 2016, or maybe get your 2017 calendar very soon and start preparing some of those different recipes.
Yes.
Sounds good. Well, I've been here with Abby Van Meter at the Nelson County Extension office. This has been Gary White for Central Kentucky Television.